Hey everyone, and welcome to Under the Brick. And today I'm going to be talking about set 77049, Isabelle's House Visit from LEGO Animal Crossing. So, LEGO Animal Crossing. I gotta be honest, I think it's a bit of a, I wouldn't say a sleeper hit, but I am enjoying the theme quite a bit. And this is the first set I decided to pick up for it. That being, well, Isabelle's House Visit. And as the set entails, you get a house, some builds, and you get Isabelle. So, let's just jump into this set.
Yeah, bro. They got the.
Hey, my man, you better tell me where you got that.
So first up here are these two little plates here. They're meant to go in front of the house. So one is a garden and the other is a plain green one. And they are kind of nice. At first I was a little bit mixed on them. They originated from Lego Mario. I just wasn't really sure about them. That's kind of why I avoided some of the Mario sets, just because, well, I wasn't a big fan of these plates. Though finally actually owning them and having a set with them, I can see the appeal of them, and just the simple aspect of being able to connect them together just through a 2x4 is quite neat, and they do have a nice aesthetic to them. The only kind of thing is I'm not a big fan of these gaps up front, but that's just me being really nitpicky with them. But I do like them. On a regular base plate I think they would do quite well, and just even the aspect of being able to connect them together. And the fact that the other sets have them as well, so if you have a few of the other sets you can connect them all together quite seamlessly. And even in this set they implore you to connect them together in different ways. So that's pretty cool, I like that. So next up is just this little crafting workbench. And it's just a simplistic little build, but I really like it. Up front there is some drawers, then on the little table here there's a little print for a DIY recipe on a little tile. It's a really neat little print and it's a welcomed one at that. Up top there are just some various clips for some tools, including a shovel, a hammer, and a little slingshot piece that I think originated from the LEGO Simpsons Series 2. This is just a really simplistic build, and the idea in this set is you can plonk this wherever you really want to. But it's just a really nice little build. It's almost polybag level at that, but a really good polybag, if that makes sense. So next up is a slightly more substantial build, or at least compared to the other ones, that being this little tree and this little balloon present. In the game of Animal Crossing, a balloon occasionally floats by where you are, and it has a little present attached, and if you use the slingshot, that's also included in this set, you can shoot it down. Well, not in this set, but you get what I mean. You can simulate that like you do in the game. And inside the present there's a little paintbrush and some paints. I mean, it's not the worst thing you can get out of them, but, you know, it's not the greatest. Anyway, so onto the tree here. It's a really simplistic little build, but I love it. First off, they have these new cylinder pieces that have these little roots coming out the bottom of them. And on top of that, there's this interesting little tree build that's simplistic, but it's cute. It's really charming. I love it. On it, there are some clips for some apples to go. And if you take off the lid of the tree, you can find some Nook coins inside. This is to simulate how, in the game, if you shook a tree, sometimes an item may fall out of it. On the little base itself, there is this little print here for a little bit of soil that's been dug up, so you can use the shovel there and you can dig up something. And I presume it's probably for that fossil that's sitting next to it. The fossil here is just printed on a little dot part, but it's pretty good. It's an interesting little print, I do like it. There's some little stars and a swirl on it. I wonder if we'll be getting a museum set later on this year. It's more because in a lot of these sets a few of these little fossil prints are included. Before we move on though, there's another little plate up front here that simulates a little river or a pond, or possibly. I do like it that they've included this one, just so if you have another set that includes one of these bluer parts, you can connect it to it and create a little river, or even lead up to a beach. I know, I'm just sort of spitballing here. So here we are onto the main sort of bulk of the set, being Fauna's little house here. And it's a really charming little build, it's adorable. It's maybe below a creator house, but above a city house, I would say. Though City has been putting out some really interesting houses recently. There's a lot of interesting building techniques throughout it, including up front here with these interesting tiled pieces to simulate a wooden beam. And on top, they've used two of them as well. On the roof itself, they use these new rounded tiled pieces to give a sort of, I guess you could say, stacked look to the roof. Out front there's a mailbox, and an interesting new door piece that I've not really seen before, alongside some new hinges too. On each side of the house there is some flowers. On one side there is a little bit of vinage going on, and the other side there is a window. In this set as well there includes two extra windows that you can swap out, that being these blue rounded ones, and they're okay. I find it sort of odd they've chosen a different colour that's completely different from the build itself. I would have said they should have gone with the red, just to match with the door and the letterbox. At the same time though, it's no big complaint, because you can have it either way. Up top on the chimney there is a little bit of smoke coming out using that one cloud piece from Unikitty, and that's a really cute touch. Similar to the other parts in this set, this sits upon a handful of those base pieces with varying levels of construction to them. So you have 2 up front and then 2 on the sides, and then a larger square one in the centre, making the main bulk of the house. Before we go inside the house though, I just want to mention this. While I was getting some shots for this review, I couldn't put my finger on something. I was looking at the house from different angles and it just felt like something was wrong, until I faced it forward again for this shot. And then it dawned on me, the house is made to only work at one angle, like it does in game. I just think that's an interesting little detail. I just wanted to mention it before we move on. Moving inside the house, we are now given a whole load of accessories to have a look at. This includes a bed, a clock on the wall with a little table underneath it, a table with some crockery on it, 2 stools, a little cooker, a sink and a potted plant. A lot of these accessories add to the dollhouse feeling that I think LEGO was going for. I do like it though they do take up quite a bit of space in the build. That's just sort of inside, but you can rearrange them any way you want, and you can not even include some of them if you don't want to. The way I have it set up here is just how I've had it set up for the last month or so before reviewing it. There are some interesting prints included in this set too. Like I said with the DIY tile that was included earlier, inside the house there are some interesting prints. This includes this little clock face, this little painting on the wall here of KK Slider, who I'm hoping is going to be a figure next wave. It seems like a weird choice they didn't include him in the first wave, but that aside. And then this little phone print that shows some of the apps from New Horizons on it.
Okay, that's all the time I've got. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS.
So now we move on to the figures, and we start off here with Isabelle, who is adorable as always. LEGO has captured her likeness just perfectly, I would say. Her head mould is new, along with some new colours for some existing pieces, including the mid-legs in spring yellow and this smaller skirt piece in dark blue that originated from Trolls. Her face is printed on, and I presume, I'm just going to say I presume, if we get other characters that have Isabelle's sort of head shape, we'll be getting them in other sets and things. So if LEGO does make them, they'll just recolour the head and print on a different face. I think that goes for a lot of the Animal Crossing heads throughout the theme. So if we do get other characters, they'll just be printing them differently. And that leaves the sort of door open for other characters to sort of come in. And I'm hoping we do get some. Sadly, Isabelle's been shot. No, I'm joking, she's fine. But all the heads include a little hole for accessories to go into. This is similar to how some hair pieces from Friends work. And it's a cute little detail, and this certainly included a little flower for it to go into. Though I do have one nitpick with Isabelle, and that is with the accessory. Or the accessory she's not given, I should say. It would be nice if she included possibly a little clipboard and a pen piece. I don't know, I'm sort of picturing how New Leaf she would follow you around and stuff. That aside though, you can probably just give her a tile and a pen piece from any other set. I just thought that would be a nice inclusion. Next we move on to Fauna, who's a character I'm slightly unfamiliar with because I've never had her in my village, but they've captured her likeness as well really well too. She has an interesting little torso print that seems to be a sort of winter coat. There's some really nice printing to it. Her head mould as well has even more intricate printing compared to Isabelle's, with some printing on the ears and around the eyes and nose. She also has this really good bit of printing on the back as well, representing a few little spots on her back of her fur. And it just looks adorable, it's brilliant. She includes a little hole on her head for a little party hat to go onto. And I don't really have much more to say about her. She's a really simplistic figure, but they're really good. The figures across this whole theme are pretty good as well. They're all somewhat simplistic, but they all have really nice torso designs. And like I mentioned with Isabelle, if they are going to be doing some more characters, LEGO's pretty carefully set up how they can do more characters. For example, there are more villagers who are deer, so if they say make more characters who are deers, they already have a head mold for it. And if they say make a cat or another dog or any other character, they can just reuse the same head mold over and over again due to the game's design. Before we move on to the final verdict of the set, I just want to mention something. I do like it in this set that they've included 2 characters. In some of the other sets there's only 1 character, but that's usually to sort of set up the idea that they've just moved to the island. I do like it here that there's a permanent house, Isabelle's coming to say hi, and it's just really sweet. And I do like that they've captured the sort of, I guess you could say, friendliness of the game, and how it does sort of fit in with LEGO a little bit. In Animal Crossing, you walk around your town and say hi to your villagers and give them items, and they give you items, and you work together to create a little town. With Lego, it's sort of a similar thing. Lego can be shared by anyone, you can build together and work together. I'd say it just sort of lines up with Lego's ideals a little bit, and I can understand why they've picked Animal Crossing as a theme, especially for the second Nintendo theme. Though I'm hoping we do get some other sets based off some different games. Like, there is a rumoured Zelda set coming up, and even a Metroid set would be pretty cool, and even Splatoon 2. Though I'm hoping Animal Crossing does stick around. I'm surprised they didn't do a minifigures series even. Like I said with all these head molds, they could easily do a dozen characters with just 3 different head molds. Because Animal Crossing has that big of a cast. I'm telling you, like, they do. Like, I've looked at the wiki, like, it is huge. Like, really. So what's the final verdict of this set for me? I would say it's just a really cute set. It's adorable. I would say pick it up if you can find it for a reasonable price. I managed to find mine for one, but I have seen it in some places go for quite a bit. So if you do find it, I would say pick it up. Especially if you yearn for sort of older days of Lego, you know, your Fairyland or even early town stuff. Because I feel like Animal Crossing really does capture that sort of small town energy. Well, I mean, it is Animal Crossing, is about a small town, I should say. And I guess that's the review. If you want to stick around, subscribe, I guess. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye.